Okay, we are going to start discussing inverse trigonometric functions. And this is one of the very important topics in mains as well as, and it is more whether you are good in this topic or not depends on whether you have understood this topic. While solving problems, if your understanding is good, then you will get correct answers. But if you fail to understand these concepts very well, then no matter how many problems you solve, you will still struggle. Therefore, it is extremely important that you pay proper attention and understand each and every concept. Okay, so when we studied functions, we said if a function is to be defined from A to B, it's a mapping, it's a rule by which we are saying that we will process the input variable, which is x, and produce output variable, which is y, in the codomain. So input variable is x, f under becomes y. That is what is our understanding. X, y is f image of x, right? So then we understood the difference between functions and relations, and we have a better discipline for the relations for them to become functions. The discipline is that every element in set A, in domain, must be related to some element in codomain. Some element in codomain. Okay, so it cannot happen that there are some elements in A which are not taking part in this function. That cannot happen. Everybody must take part and should produce an image which is in the codomain. Okay, and therefore now we have already understood different types of functions: one, many one, onto and into. One, many one essentially related to domain, onto, into essentially related to codomain. And then if we want to operate a function from y to x in the reverse direction, if we want the function to exist, we call that function inverse function of x, inverse of this f, and we should get back to original x. So if we do this, f inverse of x, we should get back to x, right? This is composition. This is composition. Either this way we should get back to x, or if we do it like this, which is the first function, which is second function, is really not important. Once they are inverses of each other, we should go back to x. That is what is the expectation out of inverse functions. And therefore we said if this has to happen, then we need the function of the type 1 onto, which is bijective. Unless we have a function which is bijective, which is 1 onto, we will not be able to take the inverse, because if it is many one function, something like this, A and B, then when we take inverse of this, A will not know where to go, whether to go to X or go to X1 or go to X2. When we reverse these arrows, A will be in confusion to get into X or go to X2, X1 or X2. So many one is not acceptable. If there are some extra elements, so if it is into, then C is not aware what is its image after F inverse. Therefore, C will be in confusion. Therefore, we want the function, original function, to be well behaved, very disciplined. It is 1 1 and 1 2. It might be something like this, but it is 1 1. Okay, so that reversal of these arrows is easily possible, and there is no error as far as definition of function is concerned, because inverse is also a function. Therefore, it has to follow the definition of function. So unless and until we have function which is 1 1 onto type, we cannot take inverse. Okay. So this is the important thing that we need to note. And now if we are going to discuss trigonometric functions, say let us say our f is f of x is sine x, y is equal to, then we know the graph of sine x is like this, something like this, and every real number is a part of domain and it produces some values. And if you draw any horizontal line here, this value y coordinate, this point y coordinate, there will be few more here and here. There are many y coordinates which are same. Therefore, we said if sine x is from R to R, then it is many one and it is into, because after 1 these values will never be attained, after -1 these values will never be attained, and therefore there are many real numbers in codomain which are unattended, and therefore it is into. Okay, so we can do the codomain correction and say that now let us define the function sine as R to closed interval -1 to 1. Therefore, we make it onto, but still it continues to remain many one, right? We want 1 1 onto, but sine is many one into, or worse come worse, sine is many one onto if codomain correction is done. Therefore, taking inverse, inverting sine x is not possible. Inverse of y is equal to sine x is not possible, because sine x is many one into function. Understood? So inverse is not possible, and therefore we are done. We are done with inverse trigonometric function. And almost all the trigonometric functions are like that. None of them is 1 1 onto, and therefore it is going to be difficult for us to create inverse functions of them. And by the theory of functions that we have learned, inverse is only possible if the function is 1 1 onto, and otherwise not possible. Therefore, inverse functions of trigonometric ratios, trigonometric functions is not possible. That is what is the end of the story. So what do? We should solve some problems on inverse trigonometry. Everywhere you have to write, no, inverse trigonometric functions are not possible, because they are not 1 1 onto. Yes, but then, okay, understood. This is not possible, we have understood. तुम्हाला लिहायचं आहे का वरचं? थोडं श्रिंक करून ठेवू. I mean, अरे परत परत तेच करतोय मी. काही नाही, विशेष काही लिहिलेलं नाही मी अजून, त्यामुळे ओके, आय कॅन मूव ऑन. 55%. Now, but then that is not the case. We need inverse of trigonometric because it is required. We cannot only keep handling the friendly angles. We need to figure out what are the values of very bad angles, their trigonometric ratios, and if we are being given a bad value of a trigonometric function, what is that angle corresponding to? And therefore we cannot run away from this situation that inverse trigonometric functions cannot be inverted, and we have to do something about having inverse of them. So compromise, we have some compromise so that we make them 1 1 and 2, because 1 1 and 2 is a rule for inverse. We cannot violate that rule. Okay, so by doing something, if we can trim domain, if we can trim codomain and make the function 1 1 on 2, then it might be possible to consider inverse of that function. However, we have to pay price for that. So now we know the sine function is like this. I am drawing only one cycle, and this is 0, this is pi, this is pi by 2, this is minus pi by 2, and this is minus pi. So there are many cycles like this which make it actually many one. So a decision is made. I mean, if you were given the responsibility of trimming the domain, presently y is equal to f of x is equal to sin x is from R to R. That is what this is. Now we will try to draw another picture where we will trim domain. Let us try to create a sine function which is invertible. So let f be defined from something to something. Y is equal to f of x, which is sin x. So what will you do? What will you do if you were given the responsibility of trimming the domain and making it 1 1 on 2? What will you do? Yes, bola.
Sir, minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 high interval consider.
That seems to be correct answer. If we just consider this point as pi by 2, this point as minus pi by 2, and if we start from here and consider only this much part of our sine curve, then it might be possible that it is 1 1 on 2, and therefore we say that let us consider the domain to be closed interval minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, that is domain, and codomain also should be precisely selected minus 1 to plus 1, and then y is equal to f of x sin x, then yes, it is 1 1 on 2, and therefore there exists inverse. Let us write inverse in some other. Then there exists inverse. Let f inverse. Now when we define inverse, we have to just flip these two guys. Domain becomes codomain and codomain becomes domain. -1 to 1 closed intervals. That is what you will be your values of x, and the images will go and land between -π/2 to π/2. Okay, and we have already seen that that the graph of inverse function. So y is equal to f inverse of x is equal to sine inverse of x. So let me draw that curve once again. It is very bad, and let us immediately draw the drawing it on this whiteboard is a little difficult, but I think I am doing good, because here it is a very nice curve. Here why I am struggling, I don't know. Oh, now in this color we are supposed to reflect in y is equal to x to get the inverse graph. Of course, this is important that they are at 90 degrees to each other. They are at 45 degrees. Okay. So the graph of inverse function will look like this. Now let us decorate. This is on x-axis. This is π/2. This is -π/2. This dotted line here is 1. This dotted line here is -1. This fellow here is π/2. This fellow here is -π/2. Then this coordinate here is -1, and this coordinate here is +1. That is the story of sine inverse x. That is the story of sine inverse x. See if you are understanding and drawing it correctly or not. This is sine inverse x. No. Yes. I wait for some time so that you draw and copy it correctly. Okay. If you are done with this and if you have understood what exactly we have done, let us do it here for cos. Y is equal to f of x is equal to cos x. Okay. Now let me draw the graph of cos first. π/2, 1, π/2. This is your 1 cycle. Maybe I'll start from -π and I will finish at +π. Okay, so this is -π, π/2, 0, -π/2, π/2, π. Okay, so we need to make a decision about from where to where we are supposed to consider the function so that it becomes 1, 1 onto. So what is your choice?
0 to pi. Sir, 0 to pi.
Yeah, I mean there are couple of choices in this case, but most popular and conventional choice is from 0 to pi. So if we are working from 0 to pi, we have this 1 with us, we have this pi by 2 with us, and we have this 1 with us, minus 1 here. So the graph is going to be like this. This is green is my cost curve from 0 to pi. This is 1. Dark circle means it is part of minus 1. This is 1. Okay. Now we are supposed to reflect in y is equal to x. Correct. So this is going to be 1. It will go here and it will go eventually. This is 1. This is pi by 2. This is pi. Now you see this particular point of intersection is going to be on y is equal to x, 45 degree. Right? So this point is 1 now. This point is minus 1. This is 0. This is pi by 2. And this is pi. Now cos is little dangerous compared to sine because we have symmetry in sine and we have lost symmetry in cos. Therefore, we have to pay price for cos. And everywhere, I mean, because we are trimming domain, we have to pay price. We will find out what price we have to pay. And that makes inverse trigonometric functions very, very interesting. So have you understood this graph? These graphs are to be there with you forever. You cannot afford to forget these graphs. They are going to help you to solve problems, understand inverses of trigonometric ratios very, very clearly. This is cos. So let me write down. Cos is from, let f inverse is defined from, again, minus 1 to 1, pi by 2, 0 to pi. Y is equal to cos inverse of x. What are we supposed to do now is, I expect you to do this 3 y is equal to tan x, sketch tan x, decide the domain codomain so that it becomes 1 1 on 2, decide the inverse, sketch inverse and decorate. Okay, I give you 3 minutes for this. Do it. Okay. So the tan function is like this. And you have some special angles, so vertical lines, dotted vertical lines here, pi by 2 minus pi by 2, this is 0, and you have r is the range. I mean, codomain is real numbers. Okay, codomain. So the convention is to define tan function, tan inverse, let f inverse be from, okay, be from. Now this pi by 2 and minus pi by 2 will not be achieved by tan inverse, maybe by tan, and therefore we will have our domain as minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Sorry, we will have our
That will become the
range, yes, from R to minus pi by 2 to y is equal to tan inverse x. Okay, so as to sketch it very quickly, it is easy. You just reflect, take it to infinity, take it from infinity. This is tan inverse x. What is this dotted? This dotted line will become horizontal dotted line here at pi by 2. That value will not be achieved. Minus pi by 2. Simple. Okay. Now, what will be cosec, what will be sec, and what will be cot? That is the question. So maybe what we will do is we will use graph of sine only to understand what cosec is. Okay, we will try it again. Cosec. Four. The graph is like this. This is pi by 2. This value is 1. And from here, pi by 2, my pi by 2 and 1 are looking alike. Pi by 2, 1. Pi by 2, 1. So this is your cosec. Draw y is equal to x line. It will pass through like this. And therefore, your cosec inverse will be dark circle pass to this point and be asymptotic with x-axis. This is y is equal to x 45-degree line, dark circle, go there and become asymptotic with respect to x-axis. Okay, so let f inverse be from, okay, be from, what is the domain of, cosec inverse? Minus infinity open interval up to minus 1 closed interval, union closed interval 1 to plus infinity, open it. This is your domain, and what will be the range?
R.
कोसेक अरे मधले व्हॅल्यूज मिळत नाहीयेत इथून इथपर्यंतच्या. अरे हो का नाही?
हो सर.
रेंज विल बी बरोबर चाललंय ना? Okay, range will be minus pi by 2, comma 0. 0 is not available. Open interval, union, open interval, 0 to pi by 2. बरोबर आहे. मायनस पाय बाय 2 पासून 0 पर्यंतच्या अवेलेबल आहेत इकडे. 0 अवेलेबल नाहीये आणि 0 पासूनच्या 0 प्लस पासूनच्या प्लस पाय बाय 2 पर्यंत अवेलेबल. दिस इज इम्पॉर्टंट. कोसेक इनवर्स. Fifth, now we keep symmetry between sine and cosec, symmetry between cos and sec, and maybe tan and cot will be little different because cot inverse will be decided by cos. So complete this 5 and I will draw 6 for you. I will draw 5 also later on. 5 and 6 you yourself complete, and then maybe make a table of sine inverse, cos inverse in first column, domain in second column, and range in third column. Let us complete this activity. Cos was here. This is 1. This is pi by 2. This is pi and minus 1. So cos was like this. Cos, no, sorry, sec. Sec was like this. If we want to take a reflection, y is equal to x, this becomes 1. It goes like this. This is pi by 2. Right? And then this fellow will go here. जरा जास्तीच वर झाला. And will come down like this and will become asymptotic to this line. Is that okay? So this is what is your cosec, sec. So let me decorate quickly. This is 1, this is pi by 2, this is pi, 0, 1, pi. what is the domain? So f inverse is defined from minus infinity to minus 1 closed interval union 1 to plus infinity to 0 to pi by 2 open union pi by 2 to pi closed. Sec inverse x. And the last graph is cot is again 0 to pi. This is pi by 2, 0, reflect it. हाँ बोलो. हाँ एक मिनट. हेलो. 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 हाँ. How do we reflect this now? It goes from here to असं काढलंय हे बरोबर काढलंय. It goes like this. At pi there will be a dotted line. At pi by 2 it will cross and it will go like this. Okay, so this is your cot inverse. So what is this? This is pi by 2. This is pi. अजून काय पाहिजे? अजून काय नाही पाहिजे. झालं. Okay, so what is the domain range consideration? It is well defined on entire R. So f inverse is defined from minus infinity to plus infinity to open interval 0 to pi. Cot inverse x. Okay, so the exercise is to make the domain codomain such that the function becomes 1 1 on 2 and inversion is possible. So we have got all the 6 trigonometric ratios which are functions inverted, and therefore see, in case of polynomial function is from R to R. And if it is 1 1 on 2, I mean if the function is not something like this, and if it is like y is equal to ax cube, something like this, then inversion is easy. It goes from R to R. We need not have to worry about and keep remembering the domain, codomain in case if naturally if the function is 1 1 on 2. That makes our life easy. But if the function is naturally not 1 1 on 2, then we have to force him to be 1 1 on 2 by trimming the domain and codomain and therefore every time we take inverse, we have to be alert about what we have done. Okay, so let me give you an example and explain why it is going to trouble us every now and then. Suppose my function is y is equal to 3x plus 4. Y is equal to 3x plus 4. Now it is defined from R to R. It is a straight line with slope 3. Y-axis intercept is 4. Okay. So if I say that what is the value of y when x is equal to 5? The answer is 19. Okay, 19 is the answer. Now if I take inverse of this function, let this function be f inverse. F inverse, can we find out f inverse quickly? It is y minus 4 upon 3 is equal to x. That is what is the inversion which we have done. We want to find out x in terms of y. However, we will report this function as y is equal to x minus 4 upon 3. Right? And therefore, if I put value of x here now 19, which is this value, if I put value of x is equal to 19, then we get 19 minus 4 upon 3 is equal to 5. That is what I started with without much thinking, because the original function was 1, 1 on 2. Understood? So without any thinking, if I invert the function, do the calculations correctly, I will go back to original function, original value. If I put x, I get back x by operating this function followed by this function, f followed by f inverse. So if I do this operation, then I end up going back to original. Okay. However, now suppose let us see the simplest function that we have said, sin x and its inverse. Okay, can you tell me what is sine 120? How much is sine 120?
Root 3 by 2.
Is equal to root 3 by 2. Okay, so if I take sine inverse of root 3 by 2, I expect to be suppose I expect that I should get 120 back. Will I get 120 back? So what I am trying to do is sine inverse of sine 120. That is what I am trying to operate. If inverse theory is correct, then I should get back to 120, because I am doing something and undoing something. So I should be able to go back here. If the function is this, f is this, and if f inverse is this, so it happened f inverse followed by f is original function. So here I am doing exactly same thing. What will be answer of this? Will answer be 120 or will answer be 60? अरे हाथ का सगळे.
Oh, sir.
What will be the answer of that question?
60.
What is sine inverse root 3 by 2?
60 degrees.
If you look into your graph, that is what you have plotted just now. If you look into the range of sine inverse, you will never reach 120. The moment you take sine inverse, you will be between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Doesn't matter what value of which sine inverse you are taking, you will land into minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Okay, and that is what is the price. In case of algebraic function which is naturally 1, 1 on 2, we need not have to worry. We go back to, we can directly write f inverse of f of x is equal to x. f of f inverse of x is equal to x. We can directly write this, provided the function f is naturally 1 1 1 2 and there is no domain considerations, there is no codomain considerations, etc. But this is dangerous. This is the price that we are paying. If I take sine inverse of sine 120, I get 60 and not 120. I get 60 and not 120. And will be true for every. Will sine inverse of sine 30 be equal to 30? Yes. This is going to be true because this fellow is well behaved. It is in the required domain of sine. Therefore, you will get back to 30. समजते का? अरे समजते का मुलांनो? Similar situations will be there for tan, similar situations will be there for cos, etc. What is cos of minus 60 degree? What is cos of minus 60 degree?
Half.
What is cos of minus 60 degree?
Half.
So cos inverse of cos inverse of cos minus 60 degree. Do you expect it to be minus 60? Because we are operating the inverse and direct functions one after the other. So is the answer minus 60? No. Cos inverse will never give you minus answer. Because cos inverse range, if you look, it is 0 to pi. Cos inverse will provide you the angle between 0 to 180. And it is not 100, not 60, minus 60 kadich मिळणार नाहीये. That is the price which we are paying. So what answer we will get instead of minus 60? What?
Plus 60. Plus
We will
60.
get the answer plus 60. They are 180 degree opposite of each other. So that makes these inverse trigonometric functions very, very interesting and promising, challenging. So this is it. Okay. Let us look at another situation. Where now what exactly I am doing here is I am taking inverse first followed by original function. Suppose I make it opposite. Suppose I make it opposite. Sine of sine inverse half. Sine inverse of half is how much? Sine inverse of half is how much?
30 degrees.
30 degrees.
30 degree. So sine inverse of half is 30 degree. And what is sine 30?
Half.
Yes. So we got this answer here. No problem. Say tan of tan inverse 1. What is tan inverse 1?
Pi by 4. 45.
Pi by 4. What is tan of pi by 4?
1.
1. So we got this answer. So this is safe. Because we are dealing with trigonometric function, and in trigonometry, we have not done domain trimming or nothing. It is a trigonometric function as defined. So in trigonometric function followed by its inverse is safe, because its inverse will take you to the safe zone. This is the angle which will be in the range that we have defined for inverse functions. And if you take tan sine of that, you will go back to normal. So this is very important, which need to be understood. Trigo followed by trigo inverse of x is equal to x. But trigo inverse followed by trigo of x is not necessary equal to x. Understood? That is what is making this very interesting, and we have to be extremely alert in dealing with this kind of things eventually. Okay, so if you have understood this, copied everything that I have written on board, I give you a couple of minutes to finish it, and then we go for the next part. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is start working on the properties of these inverse trigonometric functions. Say, for example, I want to express sine inverse of opposite of x in terms of sine inverse of x. Now, every time you write sine inverse, you need to have an angle in your mind. This is the angle, measure of some angle. And we want, and this is a real number, minus x is a real number. This is not angle. This is the real number. This is actually the value. So if sine inverse x is equal to t, then minus x is sine t. Sine of value of angle t is minus x. Okay. So like these questions can be answered in two different ways. One geometrically, another algebraically. We will do all these activities that we are planning to do now in both ways every time. So let me first explain you this. Let me first explain you this geometrically. Our definition of trigonometry ratio, our definitions of trigonometric ratios are going to be very, very helpful in this case. Unit circle and the position of terminal ray. Now, as far as sine inverse is concerned, I will call this semicircle minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, inclusive of these 2 points, is where your terminal ray is going to come and rest. Terminal ray will not be in second quadrant or in third quadrant. It will be in first or fourth, because sine inverse is going to give you angle between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. If you are looking at sine inverse, your terminal ray will land in this zone only. Okay. So now you choose any value of x, which is say sine x. So I choose, suppose this is the value of x. Okay. So if this is the value of x in our trigonometry, which terminal ray are we talking about? This. This is the terminal ray which will give us sine of whatever this angle is, theta. Sine of theta will be x. Correct? So what will be opposite of x? Opposite of x will be here. Okay. So if opposite of x is here, what is its corresponding sine ratio? Sine terminal ray? This. And what do you think these two angles, how are they going to be related to each other? If this is theta, this is opposite of theta. This is our trigonometry. We are not yet reached solving this problem. This is our trigonometry information we are just capturing. Okay. So now let us go back to the problem. Problem says you consider minus x. Okay. So this is my minus x value and its sine inverse. So here I will get the answer minus theta. In this diagram, sine inverse of minus x will be minus theta, or if you call this angle alpha, say alpha, then you are supposed to express it in terms of sine inverse of x. Sine inverse of x is exact reflection of this terminal ray in x-axis. Is that correct? So if this is alpha, then this is going to be opposite of alpha. Can you observe it geometrically? And therefore alpha is equal to opposite of sine inverse x. Therefore you end up getting this identity: sine inverse of opposite of x is equal to opposite of sine inverse x. Sine inverse of opposite of x is equal to opposite of sine inverse x. I am just asking you to visualize unit circle and terminal ray, the definition of sine, so that you get this answer very quickly. Now let me write down the algebraic proof. This is geometry. Now in algebraic proof we will start with let sine inverse of opposite of x is equal to theta. This implies sine theta is equal to opposite of x. Now the moment I write my first statement, what I should write is, because I am dealing with sine inverse of minus x, therefore minus 1 is less than or equal to minus x is less than or equal to 1. This is my domain consideration, and my range consideration, will come here. If I operate sine inverse on any value, I land between minus pi by 2 less than or equal to theta less than or equal to pi by 2. This is my, let us call it as range, because we are talking about 1, 1, 1, 2. This is domain, this is range. Okay, so if I write the second statement, still this is true. Sine theta is equal to opposite of x. Okay. So now what I will do is, I will change this sign and consider it as opposite of sine theta is equal to x. This is pure algebra and you are in sine, so you need not have to worry. But now I will be interested, because eventually I am supposed to take sine inverse. I am now every time carry this along. So now I am having x with me. So I multiply this inequality by minus 1 and still I end up getting exactly same inequality. X is less than or equal to 1. What about theta? Theta, we have not done anything to theta. Pi by 2. Okay, so up to this point it is true. Now from here to the next step is your trigonometric skills. Because you do not have something like opposite of sine inverse. Opposite of sine inverse doesn't make any sense. You have to take sine inverse if you want the theta to be back, because we have to answer this, na? So this is theta. So how can you express theta as sine inverse x? Therefore you have to adjust this term in such a way that if you take sine inverse, you get theta in LHS. Okay. So for that, what do? For that we use trigonometry property. Opposite of sine theta is equal to sine of opposite of theta, which is equal to x. This step is critical. Okay. Now again I will go and write down domain codomain considerations here. X I have not changed, therefore it is -1 less than equal to x less than equal to 1, but I have changed theta now, so I need to know what this minus theta is, so again by multiplying it by -1 we get minus pi by 2 is less than or equal to minus theta is less than or equal to pi by 2. Okay, now this is a comfortable situation. Why it is a comfortable situation? Because now if I want to take sine inverse of x, x must be in -1 to 1. That is what is the domain of sine inverse. X must be between -1 to 1, which is right now, and the angle that you will get will also should be between the range minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, which is the situation right now. Therefore here I will be able to take sine inverse, so I can invert the function saying minus theta is equal to sine inverse of x, and these two guys are going to remain same because we have not done anything to them. Okay, very good. Therefore theta is equal to, now this is your algebra, minus of sine inverse of x, and same thing. Okay, so you were trying to find out theta in terms of sine inverse x, hence we have proved sine inverse of opposite of x is equal to opposite of sine inverse of x. These domain considerations and range considerations are little easy for sine. This was a critical step, very important step here, from here to here, and there our trigonometric skills are going to be tested. Okay, have you understood this? Is there any step which you have not understood in this? Geometrically it is quick, algebraically it is involved, but algebraically also you need to know how to do it, and without any error you should be able to do it. Okay, so shall I give you the next?
सर तो geometric proof एकदा परत explain करा ना.
Geometric proof मध्ये आपण whatever we have done in trigonometry, the definition of sine, we are just using it to answer this question. Okay, so if you are talking about x and opposite of x, sine is defined as y coordinate, therefore I take x here, opposite of x will be here. Corresponding terminal ray will be this in case of x, and corresponding terminal ray will be this in case of opposite of x. So if this is the terminal ray and if this angle is theta, then of course this angle is going to be minus theta by symmetry. We know that they are opposites of each other. If this angle is alpha, this is going to be opposite of alpha. So if I want to answer sine inverse of opposite of x, that means you want alpha, you want to report alpha in LHS, and you have to express it in terms of sine inverse x. That means you have opposite of alpha with you. Sine inverse of x is opposite of alpha. So how are alpha and opposite of alpha related to each other? By a minus sign. Therefore we put minus sign here, and these two identities are true. In case of sine it is relatively easy. Let me do it for cos, or let me give that cos problem for you and then explain you after 3-4 minutes. Okay, so the next problem is to express cos inverse of opposite of x in terms of cos x. Cos inverse x. Pause. Geometrically, let us do it first. Unit circle. Now cos is x coordinate, so this is suppose your x. This is your opposite of x. This is corresponding terminal ray. This is corresponding terminal ray of opposite of x. Correct? Now, cos inverse of x will give you, cos inverse of opposite of x will give you this angle alpha, right? And cos inverse of x will give you this angle, which is beta, and they are related to each other. You want to report cos inverse x, which is equal to alpha, in terms of beta. As simple as that, algebraically. Let cos inverse of x is equal to alpha. The moment I write this, minus 1 less than equal to x less than equal to 1, 0 less than equal to alpha less than equal to pi. This implies cos alpha is equal to x, right? Cos alpha, no, what is this? This is cos of opposite of x. So cos of opposite of x. Okay, correction. So minus cos alpha is equal to x. So at this stage, if I want to bring this inequality down, I multiply by minus 1 everywhere and I get minus 1 less than equal to x less than equal to 1. Now I'll have to absorb this minus sign inside, and trigonometry skill says it is cos alpha only. Is that right? Will the cos alpha go inside as it is, or what will happen? Okay, what is alpha?
Sir, pi minus x.
काय म्हणतोय?
Sir, pi minus alpha x.
एकच मिनिट. 0 लेस दॅन इक्वल टू अल्फा लेस दॅन इक्वल टू पाय. बरोबर चाललंय.
सर मग तिथे खाली cos of pi minus alpha x.
हो, पण ते का करायचं तसं?
कारण cos of pi minus alpha is equal to minus cos alpha.
Now let me do it in a wrong way. Trigonometry allows me to take this inside. So suppose I take it inside. Cos of alpha and cos of, no, okay. Trigonometry allows me to, cos of alpha is equal to cos of opposite of alpha. So this minus sign cannot be absorbed inside. Okay. So minus sign has to be absorbed by your trigonometric skills. So what is, so suggestion is cos of pi minus alpha is equal to x. Is this trigonometrically correct? Cos of pi minus alpha, is it minus cos alpha? Yes, trigonometrically this is correct. But why should we choose pi minus alpha only is a question now. So if we if we are about to take cos inverse, we might as well control this angle in the required zone. So our x is minus 1 is less than equal to x is less than equal to 1, and what we have to do is we have to find out the range of pi minus alpha. So I have to multiply this by minus 1. So minus pi less than or equal to minus alpha less than or equal to 0. Then I will have to add pi, that makes it 0 less than or equal to pi minus alpha less than or equal to pi. Oh, this is good. This is in the range of cos inverse. This is in the range of cos inverse. Actually, this is the range of cos inverse. Therefore, pi minus alpha, if it is taking good care of opposite of cos alpha, then it is acceptable. Now, here let me want to check. Suppose I take, see, cos instead of pi, you can have cos of opposite of pi minus alpha also. Cos of opposite of pi minus alpha is also minus cos alpha. Yes or no?
सर पण मग ते आपल्या ओडोबीच्या बाहेर जातं sir.
That is what I am showing. If you consider this, because trigonometrically this is correct, but then if you want to do this angle and check what is this angle, whether it is lying in the range of cos inverse or not, and if you do these calculations, then what will happen is you are adding minus pi. So it will become minus 2 pi is less than or equal to pi minus, what are we supposed to get inside? Minus pi you are adding. So minus pi minus alpha is less than or equal to minus pi. This is useless because this is not is our range of cos inverse. So there will be only one trigonometric correction. Only one trigonometric correction which will bring your required angle in the required range. And in this case, it is pi minus alpha is cos of pi minus alpha is equal to minus cos alpha, that is x. Now we don't have any negative sign here, we can go to cos inverse. Therefore, you go to cos inverse saying pi minus alpha is equal to cos inverse of x, and therefore you wanted to report alpha, which is equal to alpha is equal to pi minus cos inverse of x. Okay, so it is important to consider the trigonometric adjustment in such a way, not only it should be a trigonometric adjustment, but it should be in such a way that the desired angle that you are finding out by trigonometric adjustment lies in the range of the inverse trigonometric function that you intend to take eventually. That is the skill that we have to develop. Okay, so is this problem clear to all? I mean, I made a mistake here by saying opposite of cos alpha is equal to cos alpha, but that was trigonometric mistake. It is not inverse trigonometric mistake. Cos of opposite of alpha is equal to cos of alpha. That is fine, but opposite of cos of alpha is not cos of opposite of alpha, and therefore we have to get into some other adjustment, and pi minus alpha is the correct adjustment. समजले का रे सगळ्यांना?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So the reason why we want it to be in the range, so is it because after that step we will be taking cos inverse of both sides, and then
Yes.
if we are not safe, then we might not get the angle back.
Yes, absolutely correct. You have to land wherever it is desirable to land as far as cos inverse is concerned. You cannot land anywhere. Cos inverse, because of the trimmed domain and codomain, the desired landing is fixed. So unless and until you are sure about the angle which you are going to get after taking inverse trigonometric function is in the desired range or not, you should keep doing calculations. Okay. Question number 3, 4, 5 सगळे देतो आता. Tan inverse x opposite of x. Question 3, prove that tan inverse opposite of x in terms of tan inverse x. 4, cot inverse opposite of x in terms of cot inverse x. 5, cosec inverse opposite of x in terms of inverse 6 sec inverse opposite of x in terms of sec inverse x. Okay, get me all the answers. Let me check whether they are correct. Maybe I will explain couple of them. हाँ,
कॉट एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ.
कॉट से एक्सप्लेन करूं. tan inverse minus tan x, cot minus x is equal to pi minus cot inverse x, cosec opposite of x. चला मग कोणतं कॉटचं करूया. बरं, geometrically कॉट रेशो कुठे असतो. इथं टँजंट काढायची. that is your cot ratio, no? Okay, so cot of x, so our cot चा डोमेन कोडोमेन कन्सिडरेशन्स काय आहेत. cot inverse ची minus pi by 2 minus infinity to plus infinity is a domain and 0 to pi is a codomain. So suppose if your x is here, then the terminal ray is this, correct, and therefore this is the angle theta. This is the value x. Okay, so opposite of x will be here, and the terminal ray will be like this. So cot inverse of opposite of x is alpha. So you are talking about this angle, that is what you want, alpha, and in terms of cot inverse of x, that is what you want. Cot inverse of x will give you theta. Therefore they are related to each other. Alpha is related to pi minus theta. This is geometric. Now let us do algebraic. Let cot inverse of opposite of x is equal to alpha. So opposite of x कुठे असणार आहे. minus x belongs to R, and alpha is between 0 open interval, so strict inequality alpha, strict inequality pi. This is what is the domain range consideration. So cot of alpha is equal to opposite of x. This implies opposite of cot of alpha is equal to x. Now we have to do exactly same thing. Opposite of cot of alpha is equal to cot of pi minus alpha. We are giving one trial. Pi minus alpha is equal to x. So if opposite of x belongs to R, x belongs to R, and if alpha belongs to 0 to pi, then pi minus alpha also belongs to 0 to pi. We should be able to prove this, but then it is simple. If alpha belongs to 0 to pi, then pi minus alpha will also belong to 0 to pi. And therefore we are capable of taking inverse. Cot inverse of x is equal to pi minus alpha, and therefore alpha is equal to pi minus cot inverse of x. Exactly same as earlier. ठीक है, understood? Next problem. Next problem is express sin inverse x in terms of cosec inverse. express sine inverse of x in terms of cosec inverse. I wait for 3 minutes. Okay, this is easy. Answer is cosec inverse of 1 upon x is sine inverse x. I will give you second problem and maybe we discuss that problem. Second problem will be, will cos inverse also behave exactly same?
Yes, sir.
So the
What will be
condition
cos
set
inverse of x?
No, sir.
Okay, you think and decide what that answer is. Let me ask you, express tan inverse x in terms of cot inverse. Okay, tan inverse x in terms of cot inverse x, cot inverse 1 upon x is going to be little tricky because tan operates, range of tan is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and range of cot inverse, range of tan inverse is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and range of cot inverse is 0 to pi. So I mean there is a difference between the range of both these functions, and therefore we will have to divide this in two parts. Geometrically, let us first understand what we want to do. Now, tan inverse is excluding these 2 points. It is, this is the angle for tan inverse. And cot inverse, it is excluding these 2 points. This is cot inverse. Okay. So what is really nice thing to happen is if your terminal ray is in the first quadrant, then we will not have any issue as far as the value of theta, the value of the angle that we are considering. We will be able to nicely find it out. However, if your value of tan inverse x is, that is this angle, if it is in the fourth quadrant, then this angle alpha will never be given by cot inverse function, because cot inverse will give you all the angles from here to here, 0 to pi, excluding 0, excluding pi. And you are looking for some angle which is between minus pi by 2 to 0. So that is the difficult situation. So difficult situation in terms of angles we have understood. In terms of value of x, we should be understanding now. Okay. Suppose tan inverse of x is equal to say y, then tan of y is equal to x. So tan of this y angle, tan of this y angle is x, and we are fine if tan of y angle is in first quadrant. That means we are okay if x is greater than 1. If x is greater than 0. If x is positive, then tan inverse of x will give us the value of y between 0 to pi by 2. Between 0 to pi by 2. Actually, when you operate tan inverse of x, we get y between 0 to pi by 2. Definitely pi by 2 is excluded. as far as 0 is concerned, it is there in tan inverse range. But as far as cot inverse 1 by x, we are going to write down eventually. Therefore, we don't want x. So first of all, if we want to express it in terms of cot inverse x, then we don't want x to be, so x we don't want to be 0. That is immediately the moment you write 1 upon x, we are excluding x is equal to 0 case. Therefore, I am making this bracket open interval. So if x is greater than 0, it is well behaved, and therefore we can directly use trigonometry. We can directly use trigonometry and say that 1 upon tan of y is equal to 1 upon x, which is cot of y, which is 1 upon x, and therefore y will be equal to cot inverse of 1 upon x. Of course, we have to take care of domain considerations. So let us write down, if x is greater than 0, then y is between, y belongs to 0 to pi by 2. Okay. So we can carry this. So if x is greater than 0, 1 upon x will be greater than 0, and y will be between 0 to pi by 2. So y will continue to remain between 0 to pi by 2. And when the time comes of taking cot inverse, we will have to check whether x is acceptable. Yes, x is acceptable. 1 upon x is acceptable. It is positive. And is y acceptable? Because y is going to, cot inverse of 1 upon x is going to be y, and y must be between 0 to pi, and it is, therefore this step is legal. I hope you have understood the first case. Now let us discuss the second case. Second case, obviously we have split the problem in 3 parts. If x is equal to 0, we don't want to answer. That part is easy. If x is greater than 0, we have answered. Now, if x is less than 0. Now, if x is less than 0, that means tan inverse of negative quantity will give you the angle between. So, if x is less than 0, tan inverse of x is equal to y. Y will belong to minus pi by 2 to 0 when x is less than 0. Okay, so we proceed. We say y is equal to tan x. Tan x, fair enough. X is less than 0. Now we take reciprocal. We say 1 upon y is equal to 1 upon tan x. Okay, so 1 upon y is equal to 1 upon tan x. Now, which is equal to cot of x. काय चाललंय ते बरोबर चाललंय काय? चुकलं सगळं. Tan inverse of x is equal to y, therefore tan y पाहिजे ना इथे. अरे तुम्ही सगळे जागे आहात ना?
हो सर.
Okay. Now at this point we will stop, and now it is a time to take cot inverse, and therefore we might as well check. If I want to write down cot inverse of 1 upon x, then is 1 upon x acceptable to me? 1 upon x is of course less than 0, and y is between minus pi by 2 to 0. So practically I cannot take cot inverse here, because if I take cot inverse of 1 upon x, I am not going to go and land between minus pi by 2 to 0 because cot inverse takes me to 0 to pi. Cot inverse takes me to 0 to pi, and right now the y value is between minus pi by 2 to 0, therefore I cannot take. So you need to understand why you cannot take inverse over here, and therefore I will have to manipulate this so that I will be able to. So instead of writing it like this, let us write it like this so that we will come to know minus pi by 2 is less than y is less than 0. Now we don't have negative sign here, but then we have to consider angle here such that cot inverse is possible. So we have to take this y and modify this y in such a way that it is between 0 to pi. Now one thing you need to consider here is see half angles we are not adding any time, because if we add half angle here, cot will become tan, sine will become cosine, sine will become cos, cosec will become sec. So half angles will flip the ratio. That is what is our trigonometry saying. Therefore we will be dealing with full angles, multiples of pi. So what manipulation in this inequality if we do, then we will get into the range of cot inverse. However, half the range of cot inverse we have used in this. If you look at this, half the range of cot inverse is 0 to pi by 2. 0 to pi by 2. We have already utilized, and therefore it will be good if we are between pi by 2 to pi. It will be good if we are between pi by 2 to pi, and therefore we do this. Pi minus pi by 2 is less than pi plus y is less than pi. This makes it between pi by 2 less than pi plus y less than pi. Pi plus y is acceptable angle now because it is between pi by 2 to pi. However, we need to check whether cot of pi plus y is it equal to cot of y, and it is. Trigonometrically it is true. So cot of y I can replace by pi plus y, which gives me equal to 1 upon x. 1 upon x is acceptable, and now I am, because pi plus y is in the desired, pi plus y is in the desired zone of cot inverse, desired range of cot inverse, I can take cot inverse and say pi plus y is equal to cot inverse of 1 upon x. That makes it y is equal to minus pi plus cot inverse 1 upon. So if x is less than 0, this is the answer. If x is greater than 0, this is the answer. I hope you have understood this. You can take it down, cross check whether you really understood it or not, because every now and then you will have to keep doing adjustments like this. So geometry is good because you come to know what is the adjustment, trigonometric adjustment you are supposed to do. Here, see, you will get angle alpha, and you are expecting angle which is in the second quadrant. You are expecting angle which is in the second quadrant. However, geometrically it is not really correct here because we have to consider 1 upon x. This is the diagram for x. Okay, so 1 upon x, that factor will not come true as it is in 1 upon x. So we will have to draw one more diagram and figure out whether this minus pi is correct in geometry or not. Now suddenly geometry will become difficult. Algebra is relatively easy because in algebra you need to only handle inequalities and properties of trigonometry, that these two ratios are same. This is in the required zone, and then you flip and get the desired result. Hope you have understood. लिहून घ्या सगळं. That is where we are going to stop. You run through this whatever activities that we have done today, and we have a lecture on Monday. Be ready for that. We are going to do many more calculations like this. We will prove many more identities and solve many problems. Okay, so